All right, Coach, coming from the preseason, what did you see from your team? What do you like?
Good. I saw a lot of good. I think actually a lot of surprises, especially when you recruit transfer. You don't know how they're gonna come here, what habits they're bringing from previous institutions, and it was a really good surprise. I think seeing the girls bond over meals and on the locker room conversations that had nothing to do with soccer. It was an amazing surprise. Fitness wise, I think we it's the fittest we've ever been in a preseason, which is always a good surprise because it leaves more time to do soccer, right? It's not so much about running, and it's more about how we want to play this season. So it was a great surprise. Very happy with what I saw, and I think it has a lot to do with having more seniors. And when it's your last season, you go all out, right? And so I think that's the reason of the good surprise that we had in this last week, and we're absolutely thrilled about it.
So for those transfers, how are they adjusting to your system from the previous spots?
I think very well. I think we have Lara Brewer. She comes from Christian Brothers, another D2. She's absolutely surprised for us. She's looking really good for us. We have two D1 transfers from Alcorn University. I think for them, the transition to D2 to the Lone Star Conference was actually bigger than what they thought they would be facing, right? And which is also awesome to hear. Here the expectations are bigger than we had before in a D1 program. So we're very happy to hear that, and we're very happy to know that these kids found what they were looking for, expectations and high standards. So when you find girls that wants to be asked for more and they want to deliver, it's always a good surprise.
And the first game's coming up right around the corner. What kind of expectations do you have for the team for this season?
Yeah, it's right there. I think one of the things that we're looking for is see if we can play how the coaching staff wants them to play. We want to keep the ball on the floor. We want to keep possession. We want to attack. We want to win in the right way, right? We just don't want to kick the ball long and hope for the best. We want to build. We want to be a team that plays with IQ. And I think in the first game we're gonna see it, but it takes time to build that chemistry on the field, and I think trying to have that first game as soon as we can, giving also preseason time for the girls to adjust, especially the heat. It was a tough week for the girls on this West Texas heat, especially for my internationals. Some of them came from England, where the highest is like 26 Celsius, which is like at 80 something, and you come here on a 104, and on the turf is probably like 110. So for them, adjusting to the heat has been massive. But we have a great athletic training group that take care of the girls off the pitch, so they have been able to adjust just fine.
What strengths do you see your team having right now that you would play to during the season, and then what weaknesses do you feel like you need to develop more?
Yeah, I think our strength is by far fitness right now. I think we need to develop a bit more or mental strength. I think every session has to be challenge enough where they have to use their minds, their brains of how we can get out of this. And so if we develop their mental strength a bit more, especially in the Lone Star Conference, and women's soccer is the best conference in the nation. So if we can develop the mental strength of how to face adversity, like Coach Chris was talking before me, is something that is going to help us in the long run.
So with such good fitness for your team, are you going to be playing a bit of a higher pace than?
Yeah, definitely. I think this year, after looking at our data and looking at the girls on film, we want to have high pressure, which is a bit tricky. You can get caught on a counter attack, but we're fit enough to get back on that counter attack, and we always were very physical. But I think now having speed behind us and lungs and legs, it's going to help us to keep that ball in their defensive third and trying to make that high pressure as much as we can.
And what's the health status of the team right now? I mean, you just mentioned that the heat, that can cause you dehydration injuries. Have you noticed any of that?
No, we actually are very good at keeping data on our kids. So they do a wellness report before they check in. They do weights before and after training sessions so we keep track of their water loss. Also, we have GPS. So we keep track of their long distance, sprint distance, and with all of that, we put on an Excel, and it tells how close they are to get injured. So with all of that in hand, we're able to stay away from injury. So thanks to God and UTPB for giving us the resources that we need.
I want to ask about who's your main goal. Is it going to be Paula or Valera?
I think it's something that we want to see in the next few games. I think it's unfair to look within the first week of training, right? Both of them, I want to see them playing games. I think as a goalkeeper, you can be very good at training and doing drills, but it comes the game itself, it can be completely different. So I think both of them are going to have opportunities in the first 3 games, and then once we hit into conference, we're going to establish our number one.
So what are you going to be looking for to decide who is your goalie going into conference games?
Playing with their feet. I think playing out of the box is something that we need, especially because of the high pressure we want to make. We need a goalkeeper that can play off the box, being able to put the ball down and give calm, also being good in the air. Both of them have a good jumps, so that helps both of them, but not being as tall as you see me in a goalkeeper. But being good in the air, playing with their feet, that's the 2 things that we have mentioned to them both. And it's the weirdest competition I've seen in goalkeepers. They love each other. So in goalkeeper, it's weird to find. I'm happy they have it. I know whichever plays the other one is going to be supporting.
So you were talking about the morale around the team and that they're starting to get along. Can you speak a little bit more to that and how the connection between these girls helps?
Yeah, we had 14 returners, 10 new kids, around that number, maybe a little bit less than that. But when you have new kids, they're coming from another school, they're transferring. They usually come here or any other school thinking that they know a lot and they know better. And they came here very humble to get, they want to know what is UTPB. They want to know what is to be a Falcon. So when they came with the expectation of, I want to be taught. Please tell me how we do things here. So the new girls wanted to receive that help, and it has meshed very, very well. I think one of the things that we got from football, I think we have here in UTPB a lot of strong coaches, and we have to learn from each other. It's not just learning from other schools, but learning within the program. And football, that's the thing that is called the Falcon Walk. So they walk up and down the pitch, find a teammate, get to know each other. We copy the same thing with our girls. They can't walk with their roommates. They have to find somebody that they haven't spent the day with, and talk something that is not related to soccer. And I think those little things have helped to build that chemistry, and now it looks like they have known each other for years.
Can you speak to your freshman class? I think it's a pretty small one. I only saw, I think, 2
Yeah.
freshmen on the roster. So
Yeah.
what did they show?
I have Hatley Kelly, which Kelly's a very known last name in UTPB. Great kid. I mean, I think the parents are what made those kids champions, you know. I think she wants to learn, she wants to absorb. She knows her freshman year is a year to learn, to develop. So with Hadley, she just wants everything. So I think with her, we're going to have a great year. And then we got Sophie Dion. She plays for Cyprus national team. She just played a Euro this summer. The kid is just as talented as they come. She needs to get used to the heat. That's the main thing for her. She's been struggling a little bit with it, but we're keeping an eye on her time on the field, time on the heat, and it's just gonna take us time. But she's a baller.
Anything else, Coach?
No, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.